And welcome back to the Kāhala Waiʻalae Neighborhood Board. I'm glad to see that everyone has not been washed away by the hurricane. Buckle up, we got round two coming right up. I understand there's some excitement too while I was gone. I missed you all. Real quick, let's jump right into it. Honolulu Fire Department. Do we have a representative from the Honolulu Fire Department here with us this evening? Perhaps from the Kaimuki Fire Station.
Hello, this is firefighter one, Akiono.
Hold on one second. Sorry, a difficult time hearing you. Give us 1 second to adjust our audio on the side. Try again.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. If you don't mind speaking up and introducing yourself.
This is firefighter one, Akiono, with engine 5, third watch, Kaimuki Fire Station. Our incident statistics for July 2026, we had 2 nuisance fires. Nuisance fires include like rubbish fires, 1 activated alarm with no fire, 32 medical emergencies, 1 motor vehicle collision or crash, and then 1 ocean rescue. And then our fire safety tip for the month concerns emergency notifications and resources. Understanding how you'll be alerted during urgent emergencies and knowing where to find accurate official information is a key part of being prepared. You can learn more at honolulu.gov/dem/stay informed. Some alert methods include opt-in alerts. These notify individuals who have signed up to receive alerts via text, email, or app push notifications. Alerts are not sent based on location. Some systems include the HNL alert and official government social media. You can sign up for this at hnlalert.gov to receive notifications. And alerts may be shared by official city, state, and trusted partner accounts. And then also public alert and warning systems. These systems deliver urgent life-saving information during immediate threats to public safety. In Hawaii, this includes the emergency alert system, wireless emergency alerts, and outdoor warning sirens. These are dependent on the emergency, and 1 or more of these systems may be activated. And that's it for the safety tip.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that report. Real quick, those nuisance fires that you were talking about, were those started in public spaces and private homes? Do you know anything about that?
We're not sure on the specifics. These calls or our statistics are divided through our 3 watches, so it could have been any one of the watches. Not sure about the specifics though.
Okay, no worries. Thank you. Does anybody on the board have any questions for the gentleman from the Honolulu Fire Department? Does anybody in the community have any questions for the gentleman from the Honolulu Fire Department? All right, I think we're good. Thank you again so much for your time and coming on down. Appreciate it. Up next, do we have a representative from the Honolulu Police Department?
Hi, good evening, everybody. Lieutenant Mira, Honolulu Police Department.
Good evening, Lieutenant Mura. How are we doing today?
Good, sir. How are you?
Doing most excellent. I bet you guys have had an exciting week. Please, let's get into it.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. So really quick, going over last month's statistics. Motor vehicle thefts were at 4, burglaries at 5, thefts were at 23, unauthorized entry into motor vehicle were at 3. Total cost for service, 5,475. And of course, following everybody's concern with just the disaster preparedness safety tips. So obviously we're still, we've had a lot of weather activities going on. So hurricane season, of course, still going all the way into November. So I know there's been a lot of tips that's been going out there. I just want to reaffirm and remind everybody to continue to stay vigilant. Just other things to be prepared of course, is some things sometimes we don't think about is to know where the shut off is for water, power, gas, that kind of stuff. Just having worked the last storm, some of the things we've seen so firsthand, yeah. And also make an emergency plan as far as escape and meeting places, because we saw communications obviously went down, so cell phones weren't working properly. So if you have a preset plan, if you need to evacuate, where you're going to meet your family, that kind of stuff helps. Stock up, of course, on extra batteries, flashlights, but also make sure they work. Some people, they have flashlights, the batteries are corroding, the flashlights don't work, the batteries are out. Check your first aid supplies. Also have cash on hand. We did see for extended power outages, a lot of businesses, some businesses were open, but they only accepted cash because obviously the credit card machines and stuff were down and people couldn't cook food at home, that kind of stuff. So a lot of people went out, but there was a long wait. There were long lines for a lot of those places, but again, just cash. Yeah. So, and of course, battery packs, generators, get all this stuff if you need, especially if you need power for whatever reason, medical supplies, refrigeration for any type of medication, that kind of stuff. Some people use breathing machines, oxygen tanks, that kind of stuff. It's important to make sure those things are taken care of. Yeah. So generators, fuel, oil for generators, battery packs, if it's possible. If not, try and coordinate with friends or family members where if you need to, you will have those options. Yeah. And of course, your 14-day supply of food and water. Sorry, I know it was a lot, but we're all like everybody said, we're coming up on another one and a potentially one behind that, but we're also all the way into November. So just please, everybody, just stay vigilant and be prepared.
Awesome. Thank you for that very insightful report. Two quick questions for you. With these upcoming hurricanes, how satisfied were you with the HPD response for this first one?
So I was actually working that night. Satisfaction, I think our area, our district, we took a good hit compared to other parts of the island. The officers I saw firsthand, they did the best they could, and they were out there, they were out there soaking wet. Um, their cars are soaking wet, all that stuff. But the response, we did the best we could. I mean, it is Mother Nature. Uh, First responders in general, we can only do so much, but just know that the officers were out there doing the best they could. Um, Given the resources we had. So, having said that, I mean, it's always better to have, more manpower, more staffing, that kind of stuff, not only with the police department, but just with everybody. But again, it is that's in a perfect world. Yeah. So it is Mother Nature. And of course, we can only do what we can.
I was very pleased to see how quickly the officers responded to the major intersections and had those major traffic thoroughfares under control fairly quickly. And for several days, I think we lost power on Waiʻalae for 2-3 days at that main intersection. So they did a great job, and I think we're going to be looking forward to another good response on this next one. Follow-up question.
Sure.
Happy Days, dim sum, kaimuki.
Yes.
It's been blocked off over there, and there's a bunch of cops. Do you mind if I ask what's going on over at Happy Days?
Okay, so real quick, so it's been in it's been in the news. For Happy Days, the roof had collapsed. And from there were just some construction integrity issues with the building. It is a privately owned building, so between the police department and the private sector, above my pay grade, they're trying to work as far as just the safety wise. So right now, it's just because of the collapse of the building. We had certain roads blocked off, certain areas blocked off. I know city engineering, planning and permitting and stuff like that, they have been in there. I don't have any updates for you guys as far as any of that, but we do still have an officer over there, and that's just to kind of just to make sure nobody comes nearby the area, that kind of stuff, because in case something happens or there's another structural question or some maybe a wall collapses, just as an example, the officers are there to try and protect everybody from preventing that happening. Yeah.
Do you guys anticipate opening up that roadway for the hurricane? Or are you guys going to keep it blocked off? Just because there's the freeway on ramp right there.
Sure, understood. We were just talking about that just prior to logging on. I don't have any updates. If we do get updates, we can let you know. I can send you an email as far as Christian, if I get any updates on that.
No worries. Well, thank you very much. Does anybody in the community have any questions for Lieutenant Mura? Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say again, as Christian said, yeah, thank you very much. I mean, I remember when I was woken up at 3:30 in the morning with, the incredible wind shear that was just, blasting against my house. And, my concern was that I had my grandchildren and my daughter and my son-in-law staying with us, and they had flights leaving early that morning about 8 a.m. And, I called up the airlines and found out the planes were still flying, and they needed to be there early in the morning. So I had to wake them up, get them out. It was dangerous driving, but we had to do it to get them back for school and all of that. The highways, we were careful going through the intersections because the lights were out. We get on the highway. Nobody's on the highway, and then we're driving to the airport, and all of a sudden the airport was blocked off by three major police cars. No reason given why the airport exit was blocked off, but and no instructions about going to the next exit. Fortunately, being a Kama'aina, I knew you can get off the Tripler exit. But what was do you know any reason why they blocked the airport exit when everybody had to get to the airport because the flights were still, were still departing? I mean, it just seemed to be really nonsensical that would be done. I mean, the airport exit, you have that viaduct. It's not going to be flooded. There was no notification of any accidents or anything on it. It just seemed to be a really nonsensical thing to do. Do you know anything about that? And certainly if we have another hurricane coming, could we be sure that doesn't happen, or people know about it if the airport exit is blocked off?
To answer your question in short, I don't know. I don't have an answer as far as why it was blocked off. It's a separate district. I know sheriffs also handles part of the airport. I don't know if it was that department, but if they did block off any roadway, I'm pretty positive there's a good reason, especially in those circumstances. Yeah. So whether it be flooding, some type of construction integrity issue, maybe there was some, just an example, there was some cracking, maybe there was some rebar sticking out of the road. The officers wouldn't just block it off for no reason. Of course, we try to have all the roadways as open as much as possible, especially something as important as the airport. But again, I don't have a reason why that happened.
Well, it
And
would have been at least good if they had a sign, please go to Tripler exit, two exits down, something, instructions to people. Because my son-in-law was going crazy and said, stop, ask them to let us through. Let it, just stop short. I mean, some people would do that. Fortunately, I've been here long enough to know to go to the Tripler exit. I'm just saying it was a dangerous situation, and I think it could have been handled better.
yeah, definitely. Again, it's one of those things. If it's during the hurricane time, all resources are pretty much running at full capacity. So it could be, I don't know. Again, it could be various reasons. Communication problems, power outages. I don't know. But I can't promise you that won't happen again. But again, your suggestions, it's all good suggestions. We can always forwarded upward. Again, we just have to be, again, it's Mother Nature, so we don't know what can happen. Anything can happen, and everybody just has to be work to the best of their ability.
Excellent. Does anybody else in the community or board have any questions?
I'm curious, when the power is out, what are the priorities of the police department besides, responding to accidents? Is it, traffic control, is it managing red lights, or what other things? What are the priorities?
If there's a power outage, it just depends, honestly, as far as what's going on in the whole scheme of things. So if there's other calls, I mean, we are a police department, so, of course, public safety, that's gonna be our number one issue. So, aside from hard storm related calls, we're also getting the normal calls, whether it be, domestic disputes, people running in the roadway, whatever the case is, as examples. So, as far as priorities, we try to man the important, I guess, intersections and roadways if possible. But again, the police department, again, our resources are limited. So manning every intersection, manning every crosswalk for the entire island, of course, that's impractical. So we try to just focus on the big important ones, but there's also could be things like flooding. So officers are going to be diverted to blocking off the freeway. The freeway on westbound, we had to block that off because it was completely flooded. So we couldn't have cars coming through there. Yeah, so that kind of stuff. So again, it's hard to answer that question. It's just whatever is actually happening and going on at the time.
Okay, but it sounds like essentially safety issues would be a priority then.
I mean, more or less, yeah.
Depending on
as
the
much as
situation,
possible.
but yeah, in general, okay. The other question I had is communications. Did the police department have any problems with communications among themselves? I mean, the rest of us had, phone cells out and things like that, but how about the police department? Were you able to communicate all the time?
Yeah, not that I know of. I mean, as far as our police radios, everything was working fine. Of course, we have our dispatchers and 911 callers. They're working hard as well. They're part of the police department, so they work hard as well. Cell phones, of course, a lot of us have cell phones just like everybody else. So, if they go down, then, our cell phones will go down too. So we do use our cell phones for communication, but, that's something out of our control if they go down.
Okay, but I take it that wasn't a big issue during the storm then.
No, not to my knowledge, no.
Okay, thank you.
John?
Hi, Lieutenant. I have a
Hi.
comment and then a question. Comment is, in sub-districts 3 and 4 of our neighborhood board, month to date, we've had 1 burglary, 2 thefts, and 1 vehicle break-in. That's just an update. My question is, a few hours ago, I got an email from a Kāhala resident, and the question is going to be, is this a HPD reportable event? Last week, she said that someone put 5 bags of garbage in their gray bin. And the gray bin was 25 feet from the street. So they went onto their property to do it. And then today, someone put the same looking bags, 2 of them, in her green bin. So something's going on. Is this something that she should report? I'm going to reply that she should get a camera to try to figure out who's doing it.
Yeah, she could always call an officer and report it if she wants to. So somebody's just putting trash in her bins.
Yeah, and 2 weeks in a row. So I responded to her saying, do you have any kind of I didn't word it this way, but a conflict with a neighbor or something? And I looked up the house. It's in the middle of a block on a regular street, not a busy street. So someone's targeting their house.
I've personally never heard of something like that, but yeah, if she wants to, yeah, a camera would be a good idea. At least maybe she can figure out who's doing it. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Anybody else on the board have any questions for Lieutenant Mira? Anybody in the community have any questions for Lieutenant Mira from the HPD? Lieutenant, it is a pleasure as always. Thank you again so much for your time. Stay safe this upcoming weekend and let us know if there's anything we can do to help.
Likewise, thank you. Stay safe, everybody.
Thank you. Up next, Miss Lorna from the Board of Water Supply.
Yep, I'm here. Good evening. Can everybody hear me okay?
We can indeed. How
Okay.
you doing this
I'm
evening?
doing good. Thank you. Hope you guys are doing well too. Quick announcements as usual. I had one main break to report. That was on July 12th, and that was on Kilauea Avenue on a 12-inch main. Excuse me. The announcement I have this month is about Imagine a Day Without Water. So this year, the Board of Water Supply, in partnership with the Office of State Representative Chris Morioka and more than 25 city, state, nonprofit, and community organizations, excuse me, we invite the public to attend this year's Imagine a Day Without Water event, and that's occurring on Saturday, September 26th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's kind of far out from where we are. It's at the Ark of Safety at the Waiʻalae Mall, and that's on Farrington Highway. The address is 86-120 Farrington Highway. Please join us for some interactive exhibits and educational displays, hand-on activities and games, prize giveaways, a rain barrel workshop, and Ono food and refreshments will be available for purchase. This is going to be a free, family-friendly event, and then highlighting the importance of water and the One Water concept, which recognizes that all water is connected and must be managed as one valuable resource. Please visit our website. We have more information on that event if you have any questions. That is all I have for this evening. Does anybody have any questions?
Miss Lorna, is the Board of Water Supply still doing the $50 credit for rain barrels?
Yes, we do have the rain barrel. Yes, we do.
Excellent. So if you had a rain barrel this weekend, you were living life large,
I
water bill
know.
was low, life is good. If you don't
Exactly.
have one, go ahead, take advantage of that tax credit, lower your water usage. Good for the environment, good for everybody. Anybody on the board got any questions from Ms. Lorna?
Lorna, I heard that the city has some concerns about the water supply during this next upcoming storm, and that the storm might actually turn worse than the previous one. What I didn't understand is what is the risk to our water supply? Do you happen to know?
So I have not been closely connected with the ongoing activities for this upcoming storm and what's going on. Apologize, I am in the mainland, so I haven't been in the office this week, so I'm kind of away from that. I know they've been doing some damage assessments of facilities, making sure everything looks okay. So they are on top of that. As far as our water supply, I wouldn't be able to give that answer to you, but I'm sure I can email our communications and find out. Of course, if you guys want to, we have that number on our website that you can call in and ask them. But apologize, I don't have that answer at this moment in time.
Okay.
Yeah, but you guys be
Understand. Thank
safe.
you.
Be safe, please. Yeah.
Does anybody else on the board have any questions for Ms. Lorna from the Board of Water Supply? Anybody in the community have any questions for Ms. Lorna from the Board of Water Supply? Lorna, thank you so much for your time this
Okay.
evening.
Thank
Enjoy
you. Have a good
your
one.
warm, beautiful weather on the mainland, and we will see
Yeah.
you when you get back.
Yes, thank you. And you guys be safe there. I was there for
Thank
the
you.
first one, but left after. Take care.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Up next, DTS, Department of Transportation Services. I believe we have a new representative who is replaced out Casey Abe. If we could do a 21 gun salute for Casey Abe and his long, beautiful tenure of service and all the work that he got done. I'd like to do that, but unfortunately, he's decided to transition into, I believe, a more administrative role with the DTS promotion. So good for him. He has a replacement. They are not going to be able to attend this evening, but we look forward to meeting them on the next round. So unless there is a representative from the Department of Transportation Services with us this evening, we'll go ahead and skip on. Perfect. All right, up next, Election of officers. It is election night. Who will take it? For chair. Oh, we can use the mic.
I'll nominate Christian to continue his good work as chair of the board.
Thank you very much. I knew that $100 was well spent. Thank you, Rich. I don't see so well anymore. All in favor?
Okay. When I call your name, please say De Coveto. Okay. Dutton. Peter. Please say De Coveto. You're muted. Press the space bar on your. Oh. Okay, I'll just get back to you. White.
De Covito.
Okay. Turban. Yep. Wong.
De Covito.
McGuffey. Passing guy. Peter. Okay then. Yeah. Oh, Colin. Please say De Coveto if you nominate him
De
for
Coveto.
chair. Okay. And then De Coveto.
Thank you. Also, please write down that Peter also voted for me. It still counts. Thank you all very much. I appreciate that and look forward to serving another year. And thank you. Thank you. My reign will be swift. It will be brutal. We'll get a lot of good done for the community. Up next, vice chair. Does anybody have a nomination for vice chair?
I nominate Brian.
Brian Wong. Second. Any additional nominations?
When I call your name, please say Wong. Christian De Coveto.
Wong.
Okay. Peter. Dudgeon. You're still muted. Okay. Fujiki.
Wong.
Okay. White.
Wong.
Okay. Turban. Okay. McCuffey. Guy. And Wong. Okay. Okay. Chair. Vice chair is Brian Wong.
Corporate mandated round of applause for Brian. Thank you. Up next, secretary. We have a nomination for secretary.
I nominate Aloha.
Aloha McGuffey has been nominated. Second. All right.
When I call your name, please say McGuffey. De Quevedo.
McGuffey.
Fujiki.
McGuffey.
Okay. White.
McDuffie.
Turban. Wong.
McGuffey.
Guy. Peter. Okay, I'm just gonna. And McGuffey. Okay. Although McGuffey is still the secretary.
Congratulations. Up next, treasurer. Do we have a nomination for treasurer? I nominate Peter Dudgeon. Is there anybody who's interested in the position? We will leave it on hold then. Are we allowed to do that? Or? Peter, can you give us a thumbs up if you are actually interested in treasurer? Oh, yes. All right, perfect. Can I get a second? Second. Beautiful. All right.
Okay, when I call your name, please say Dudgeon. De Quevedo.
Dudgeon.
Fujiki.
Dudgeon.
Okay. White.
Dudgeon.
Turban. Okay, Wong. McGuffey. Casting guy. And Dungeon. Yeah, okay. He's still treasurer. Okay.
Perfect. Do we have anything else that we need to vote on? Congratulations. Civic required round of applause for everybody on the board, yes. All right. Up next, filling the vacancies. We have one vacancy in sub-district 1. Is anybody interested in joining sub-district 1? What exactly is sub-district 1, Anson? Yep, so Wilson Valley, Wilson Elementary pushing. That goes along Kāhala Mall. Like into the valley. Colin, you're sub-district 1, yes?
Yeah.
Yep. Can you describe the boundaries of your domain?
It's between sub-district 2 and 3.
Colin, you've done it again.
It's like Kāhala Valley, I guess. Up the Kilauea goes up Kilauea on
Okay.
the Malca side of the freeway.
Okay. I'm not gonna try. Ahuava, please. Or is it Ahuava Loop?
Yep.
To Oili Place. Waiʻalae. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Do we have anybody that resides in this district who'd like to join? Please, sir, step forward.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jason Liang. I reside in Tropic Gardens. I'm actually a neighbor of Collins.
Mr. Liang, why are you interested in mantling the throne of power?
Yeah, so I recently ran for city council in a desire to want to serve the public. And while that is over, I still have that interest. I want to be more involved in my community. I want to find other ways to serve, and I want to have my ear to the ground, hear what people's issues are, to better understand what people need and how to best represent them.
Second. All right. And then just real quick, do you have your photo ID on
Oh,
you
yeah.
this evening? Beautiful. He's also prepared, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. All right. Should we do the vote?
On my credit card, the expiration date, and 3 digits on the back.
Name of your
I
pet that
understand.
grew up.
People are always asking for that for some reason.
Please hold for technical difficulties.
Yeah, my daughter attends Wilson Elementary School. She will be 7 in December. I guess I'll just briefly talk about my experience and what I can bring to the neighborhood board. I've served in City County Real Property Assessment Division, but I'm here in my personal capacity as a private citizen. I am fairly well versed in property tax law, fairly well versed in reading law in itself. I have an interest in legislation. I also have been attending all the other neighborhood boards in the area. I'm currently working on resolutions to bring to neighborhood boards in regards to limiting our property taxes based on our household income, as well as proposing that we turn Hawaiian Electric Company into a publicly owned utility. I think I'm underselling it when I say that most of us are unhappy with HECO.
Sounds like an excellent addition to the board, especially if President.
Thank you.
So I think be great. It'll be an asset.
And the property tax idea. That sounds good.
Yeah, thank you. I'll bring the resolution. I can also have a short presentation about it as well as to why we need it. If you're concerned about tax revenue, I also have a plan for that as well that I can present.
We just skip this part, confirm later.
And also feel free to reach out to me as a resource for in regards to property taxes. I cannot give legal advice, but I can provide information just as to what's publicly available.
Are you a barred attorney?
No,
Excellent.
but I'm still not. I should not be and will not provide legal advice. No, I'm not a lawyer. Right. Duly noted.
Is this an old address?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
I also have so I am listed on there and I.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
Sorry about that.
Yep, okay, you're all good.
All right, let's vote before anything else goes wrong. The boys? All right.
Okay, when I call your name, please say Liang. De Quevedo,
Yeah.
Dudgeon. Okay, Fujiki.
Liang.
Okay, okay, White.
Leon,
Okay, Turbin. Okay, Wong,
Liang.
McGuffey,
Liang.
and Castaner. Yeah. Okay, he can be on the board. I just need to do the oath of office, but we can do that on the side if that's okay.
Congratulations, civic required applause.
Thank you.
Excellent. Right, do we have a full board now? I believe. This is excellent news, my goodness. All right, so while they are doing that, reports of members' attendance at other meetings. Were y'all having fun without me while I was out sick? John?
I attended the National Night Out, which was hosted by HPD. It's kind of like a neighborhood security watch thing. And they set up where you got like emergency plans and meet with the patrolling officers. I also attended an event at Shangri-La, cohort 2, where they had Native Hawaiians performing at the ones in residency at Shangri-La. And then I also attended a local Shangri-La neighborhood meeting, which they promised to do occasionally. And they explained what the activities were going on there, and they listened to neighbors' complaints about traffic. The only one I remember standing out was when the vans are outside the gate to go in, they're backing up and their reverse alarm things are very loud. So management at Shangri-La said we'll look at the videos and try to resolve that issue.
Just to be clear, though, those backup alarms are required by the HSTA.
Well, they'll just have to drive straight and come back around.
Exactly, just drifted right through. Okay, perfect. Anybody else have any? Oh, Lee?
Since we didn't have a meeting last week, I attended Sub-District 4's neighborhood board meeting, Camel Key. It was interesting. Much of it the same as ours, but they hosted what they called a debate among the people running for office there. No, that was kind of interesting.
I know that Kahi Karo had also suggested such a thing. I do apologize for not getting back to you in time. I had pneumonia, which is about as fun as it sounds. So my apologies on that. But I would love to, as the next upcoming political cycle happens, love to have the candidates and those who are interested show up, make their voice heard, understand exactly how they're representing us, and figure out what everybody's all about. So I would love to bring that forward at another time and date when the next cycle's coming up. Let's see, elected official reports. Governor's representative. Do we have the governor's representative with us here this evening? I believe. Let's see. Vanessa Gorbea.
Aloha. Yes, I am here
Good evening,
virtually.
Vanessa. How are
Good
you?
evening. Hi, good. I don't have anything to report. And this is obviously my first meeting. The governor is and his team keeping track of the tropical depression, which you folks have heard about, 1C or AKA Moke. So we're just keeping an eye on that and hoping that it continues southward or south of our state. But I don't have any specifics in regards to any other updates happening currently. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for attending. We look forward to getting to know you better and having you help transmit the community concerns and feedback to the governor. It was cool seeing him on a helicopter doing some really cool photo shoots. So that was fun to see. But a pleasure to meet you, Vanessa. Does anybody have any questions for Vanessa on the board? Ms. Gorbea, aloha.
I just have one question. Thank you for being here. I noticed in your title that you're part of the Charter School Commission. Are there any charter schools in Art District? I'm not aware of any, but
No, I'm also
Okay.
part of my job as a communications and services director at the Charter School Commission is also public information officer. So I'm in charge of communicating to our 40 charter schools statewide on anything that happens. So when school closures happen or if weather is, like the couple of episodes that we've had so far this year, including the Kona lows, I'm the one that helps communicate out to the schools and then the schools decide. No, I don't believe that there are any charter schools in the Waiʻalae-Kāhala community, but we do have 40 across the state. But I'm just representing the governor's office. At this time, it's kind of my slash of my job. So yeah, happy to be here. Thank you for the
Thank you.
question.
Okay, does anybody else on the board have any questions for Ms. Gorbea? Anybody in the community have any questions for the governor's representative, Ms. Gorbea? Excellent. Before you head out of here, I do know that we have a couple of folks who are going to be talking about the Department of Education facility, which is a repeated concern. This is a good one to get your feet wet on. It's got all the fun little bits to make it an episodic drama. So stick around. Kai, if you can speak into the microphone, please.
Hello, thank you. This is Kali Picaro. I recently heard in the governor's interview that he was actually interested in taking on publicly funded elections as something he was focused on in the next legislative cycle. Just wanted to see if you had any news on that.
I don't, but I can take that down. Can you say that one more time? I'm kind of
He
double
mentioned that
dipping right there.
he
Public
was
funding?
in publicly funded elections, and, with all this
Okay.
corruption that's happening at our legislature. This
Okay.
could be one of the ways to mitigate that.
Okay. I will follow up. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Gorbea. Pleasure to have you. Up next, Mayor's Representative Hong Lee. Good to see you again. How are you?
Good evening, Chair and Board Member. My name is Hong Lee. I work for City and County Honolulu. Before I deliver Mayor's report tonight, I would like to suggest a correction on the meeting agenda, page 1, item 2D. It says Department of Transportation Services, KC Abe. This is incorrect. Typically in state of Hawaii, our state transportation agency called Department of Transportation. When you refer to Department of Transportation Services, that's usually referred to the county's transportation agency is the agency I'm working for. So I want to make that distinction for the board.
Thank you very much for clarifying that for us.
So now the mayor's report. The announcement upcoming event happened in July. I'm gonna list the important event over here. Hawaii driver's license and state ID got a new design and enhanced security feature. City advances Waiʻalae transit-oriented development vision. David Lazar officially sworn as the HPD's 13th Chief of Police. City celebrate 250th anniversary of America. Pump the brakes, city lower school zone speed limits to improve safety. The last one is National Award highlights greener city parks in Honolulu. One upcoming event is the funding is available in Youth Climate Action Fund. The fund open for applications starting from July 27th all the way to September 7th. That's the last day we will accept application. This fund will support design and implementation of a climate change project. To learn more and submit the application, please visit www.resilientoahu.org. I have one outstanding departmental issue to follow up. At last meeting, Resident Hogan wanted an update on Kahala Towers no parking sign. The response is the DTS issued a legal no parking sign work order to Department of Facility Maintenance. The last time we checked, the sign hasn't been installed. It's continued to stay in their queue to be installed. The work order is, this is very important to track down the work order in case you want to call Department of Facility Maintenance. The work order number is LPSWO 38724. Let me repeat. LPSWO 38724. That's the only outstanding item. I'm open for questions.
Does anybody on the board have any questions for Hong-Wei? Rich?
Could I have the microphone? Yeah. You're the director, assistant director of Department of Transportation Services, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
I'm a deputy director.
Deputy, okay, so you're my hero. I want to build a statue in the park for you because after 2 years, you got that stupid light at Pueo and Kilauea fixed. For 2 years, they said nothing was wrong with it. BS, you figured it out when you took over and you got it fixed. God bless you. Okay, so, okay, but now I have a new assignment for you. Are you willing to take it on? Okay, I'm a dinosaur.
Before I take it on, I want to clarify, that's all my staff.
Yeah, okay. Well, no, but you pushed the staff to do it. I know you did because for like 2 years, they were denying there were any problem with it. Okay, so I'm a dinosaur. I'm still a commuter, drive to downtown to my downtown office about 8 a.m., come back 5 p.m., et cetera, et cetera. My rant is downtown is going to continue to die as long as the commuter, commuter exit and entries are not fixed. They've been made worse over the last few years. Exhibit A, a punch bowl, you make your left-hand turn from the Vineyard off-ramp onto Punch Bowl. Amazingly, they took a lane away that goes through King Street down to Ala Moana to make the right downtown. Why they did that, God only knows. So now you have supposedly 2 lanes to go through that light. You're on Punch Bowl, to go through that light at King Street and go down to down to Merchant Street or Ala Moana. But the first lane is taken up by homeless people who park there park their shopping carts in the first lane. So you only have one lane. So you got to wait and wait to get through. Why they took that third lane away, God only knows. It's idiocy. And then at the evening time, going up Waiʻalae-Kāhala, you have all those parking garages exiting out of Waiʻalae-Kāhala Street, and they turn the first lane that turns into Queen Street into a bike lane that nobody uses. Again, it's used for homeless shopping carts. And then that traffic light is not synced, the Queen, Merchant, King Street, and then that traffic light going, up Waiʻalae-Kāhala past King Street, it's not synchronized. So you're stuck there for 20 minutes to a half an hour. I mean, those traffic lights minimally has to be synchronized so people can get the heck out of there. We're stuck in our parking garage. I'm in Pacific Guardian Center. We can't get out. And, for years I've been complaining. I know the general.
Rich, I got to give you the 3-minute tap on
Okay,
this
all
one.
right. But anyway, can you please, since you're already my hero, can you please look into that and help downtown from that dying further? Thank you.
I'm waiting for this. Let's see.
I can assure you, you're not the only one complaining. I also understand that this is really a loaded issue. You probably pass multiple jurisdiction, you're talking about freeway ramp, and you talk about signal synchronization. I think the best way to handle this, I couldn't really answer, address the issue you're talking about, tonight at the meeting. I think the best way to, I can handle this is really for you to put it in writing to us in HNL 311. That way I can get your message in a very accurate way. I can help you to break down the issues. Apparently, all the issue you're talking about actually is under different jurisdiction. I can, send it to the different agency, have the proper response for you. And apparently, I think it's kind of a burden for him to take down all the issues. I probably couldn't remember everything you talk about tonight. So the best way is send it in writing for us. Thank you very much.
John?
Deputy Director.
The best side, I want to make a commercial for city. So for all the city issue, the best way you report to the city is called HNL 311. So once you open, it's really easy app to use. Once you open it up, it's basically you can describe the location, you can upload the photo, and that way it's actually escalate to the highest level. It's actually come down from that level to me, and different people in the city will look at the issue, and pretty much it's gonna get to my end eventually. And also because in the record, right, we obligated to give you a satisfactory response as well.
I send it by passenger pigeon.
It's up to you.
Hi, Deputy Director. I want to thank you to responding to my written request regarding just a joke, regarding my pedestrian safety issue along Kāhala Avenue. Previously, we talked about the area by Triangle Park. And so there's a rehabilitation project going on later on this year, which will address that, traffic calming issues and other stuff. And from your recent response I got today from you and your staff is the rest of Kāhala Avenue will be addressed as well, because I got other emails from residents asking, especially on crosswalks, which appear dangerous to them. So I want to thank you for your response that there's another project which will be done in 2028 for the rest of Kāhala.
That's correct.
All right. Thank you.
Anybody else on the board? Right.
Deputy Director Brian Wong. Just a question regarding the lowering of the speed limits in the school zones, 20 miles per hour. As I understand it and what's written, this will be effective on city-owned streets. How does this impact state-owned streets? For example, Kalanianiole Highway, Kamehameha Highway, all have schools fronting those streets. Will the state be also lowering the speed limit? Is there something that the city and state is worked on where the speed limit will change, or will it be maintained at whatever speed limits they have there?
That's a really good question. The school we identified right now is across island. But we do work with our state partner, in this case, the HDOT, looking into, where exactly that we're going to apply the lower speed limit. Keep in mind, this will not apply to all the streets, right? In our system, like the major highway, we categorize as a major arterial, right? We apparently some part of it will not apply to freeway. It will not apply to major arterial. Their job, their is really help people to go through the commuter during peak hour. We would treat that case by case, but we're not going to use a cookie cutter approach saying as long as you located this close to school, then everything need to go down. Definitely there's a partnership there with state DOT to looking into the case by case situation.
Anybody else on the board have any questions? The mayor's representative. Anybody in the community have any questions for the mayor's representative? It's really a pleasure as always. Thank you again so much.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
All right. Up next, Council Chair Tommy Waters. And again, here in person live. We'd love to see it.
Hello, Chair, board members. First thing I wanted to bring to everybody's attention that if your home was damaged in the storm, the city has a tax remission policy. So if you're damaged, you can apply to get a refund of your property taxes. I have the applications here. I want to hand it out to the board, and then whatever you guys don't use, maybe we can give to the public. The second thing, I've talked about this quite a bit, and the time is now to apply. If you make $80,000 or less and you're on the deed of your home, you can apply to have your property taxes capped at 3% of your income. So if you make $50,000, you're capped at 3% of $50,000. So with that, I have these applications in an envelope. It has a real property tax credit for homeowners guide, and then a handy dandy magnet that you can put on your refrigerator, and it tells you the important dates. As an example, September 30th is the application deadline for the tax credit. The issue with this is you got to apply for it every year. That's why we got a magnet to put on your refrigerator so you can remember those dates. But it also has a date that your application is open July 1st. The application deadline is September 30th. The denial letters, if there is one, will be mailed on December 30th. And you have until January 15th to file an appeal. So whoever is interested in this, you can cap your property taxes. So this is an awesome, awesome program. It used to be $65,000. The city council raised it to $80,000. I think at some point the council considered raising it to $100,000 of income. So it's a really good way to cap your income tax, excuse me, property tax. So I'm gonna leave this on this table for anybody who's interested. Rich, interesting that you brought up shopping carts. You know, if you in our community in Kāhala, we have a lot of shopping carts, but if you look across the island and you start paying attention to shopping carts, they're everywhere. They really are. I went on a drive along with the police one day and they wanted me to count the shopping carts. And I counted over 200 within a half-hour period. Of course, we were in another neighborhood that I won't say, but there's shopping carts everywhere. But the police won't grab them, even though it says Foodland or Safeway right across the top. They said, no, that's the person who has a shopping cart, that's their property, which is amazing to me. But part of the problem is the retail merchants don't want to have to come down to the crime scene, make a report, and then go to court and testify that they didn't give this person permission to take their shopping cart. So I came up with like 5 different ideas, right, on how to deal with this. And the best one that I came up with was actually, and unfortunately, making it a petty misdemeanor to possess a shopping cart. And then we have to define what a shopping cart is, which is actually kind of difficult to do when you think about it, because, right, 4 wheels, that carries groceries. But anyway, the idea here really is to give the police the ability to come up and say, excuse me, ma'am or sir, you cannot possess this piece of property outside of the retail merchant's property. So it's legal to have a shopping cart within the parking lot, but you can't have it outside of the parking lot. Ross's in Kahala, they don't even let you take the shopping cart out of the store, which at some point it may come to that. And the reason I'm doing this is partly because exactly what you're talking about, Rich. When the city does these cleanups, people will pack the shopping cart, go to the next street, and the city will come and clean, and then people will come back using the shopping cart. And I've gotten so many complaints about that. We find our shopping carts in the rivers and whatnot. So I met with the retail merchants, and they're in 100% support of this bill. Because I found, get this, when you buy these shopping carts, depending on where you buy them, and they were buying them from China, and they were a little bit cheaper, and they buy them in bulk. But even in bulk, it was $500 per shopping cart. It's amazing. But since the tariffs were instituted in China, they're up to $1,000 per shopping cart. So guess where the store recoups that money? You all, right? It's in your groceries, the charge of your groceries. But amazingly, we had it on first reading at the city council last week. And there's a number of council members who were really concerned about it. And I get it. We don't want to criminalize homeless folks. We really don't. And honestly, my hope is just to give the officers the tool to say, excuse me, Kahia Pocaro, you can't have that shopping cart. Thank you. I'm picking on Kahi, but you can't have that shopping cart. We don't want to arrest you. You got to give up the cart, right? That really was the idea. I actually got some hate mail and some really, really nasty phone calls in my office that people were really upset. But I challenged the rest of the council that, hey, it definitely is a problem, right? How do we solve this problem? And by the way, if any of you folks have any other idea, because the retail merchants, they won't go down there and grab it. The city goes down there and grabs them sometimes, right, when they're abandoned. And guess what we do? At midnight, we go over to Foodland and put it in the parking lot and return it. They don't want them back, but it does belong to them. But anyway, so it's Bill 53. Anybody else, if you want to come testify in favor, as the chair, I get to decide what committee it goes to. So I sent it over to the Public Safety Committee. So Augie Talba is the chair of the Public Safety Committee. He didn't set it for a hearing next week. But if you feel strongly about this, please reach out to Augie and say, hey, this is important to us. Please have a hearing and please vote up. Or if you have friendly amendments to this, and this is what I challenge the rest of the council members, hey, let me know. Amend the bill. I'm cool with that. Amend the bill any way you like, but let's try to solve this problem, right? Of course, Bill 45, 46, and 47 passed second reading. They go back to the Budget Committee for further review. 45 and 46 will raise your homeowner's exemption. For Kupuna, it would raise it up to 200,000. Bill 47, and hopefully I don't sound like a broken record, but Bill 47, I saw 3 of these bills, by the way. Bill 47 would lower the amount of taxes you pay to register your car. It should save, if it passes, it should save about $50 per car on average. So it's pretty good. Tesla, because they don't want to be in the budget, but it's going out. But I think that's all I got. Oh, can I, it's one of your members for their heart. Give me another one. My anxiety. Not sure this is any better. Okay. In recognition of your dedicated service and leadership in the Waiʻalae-Kāhala community and throughout Hawaii, by the way, I'm not sure how many more times I'm going to be able to do this, right? Because I was disqualified to run. But your distinguished career in community development, hospitality, cultural education, and organizational leadership reflect a deep commitment to the values of aloha, ho'okipa, stewardship, and ike Hawaii. Through your work, you have helped foster stronger communities while honoring the culture, history, and unique character of our islands. Mahalo nui loa. This certificate of recognition, the Honolulu City Council is pleased to honor Aloha Magahi. Thank you. Okay, available for questions.
Congratulations, Aloha.
Yeah. Oh, no, I was gonna say, interesting thing about the shopping carts.
Yeah.
The shopping cart family, who invented the shopping carts lived in Hawaii. They were Kama'aina, Monty and Albert Goldman. I don't know if you remember them, but how ironic it is, that the inventors of the shopping cart actually were Kama'aina in Hawaii. But I definitely, I think that really is a good bill. I mean, I don't know if I can testify, but I would certainly support it. I mean, there's no reason why shopping carts, since they are a, community hazard, they lower the quality of life, they lower the safety of Hawaii. Why should they be permitted to be taken out of the stores, or certainly taken out of the parking lots? So, please, go for it. We need to have some modicum of community safety and maintaining the quality of life, of our neighborhoods.
Oh, thanks for your support, Rich. And again, you really don't want to criminalize being homeless, but it's theft, right? And it's just not being enforced. Police aren't going to enforce it. So that's my concern. So again, it would just give the tool to the police to say, hey, excuse me, ma'am, so you can't have that outside of the retail establishment. I think the ones from Home Depot and Lowe's, those heavy carts, those things got to be thousands of dollars. If the regular shopping cart is 1,000, how much do those big heavy duty ones cost? So yeah, thank you.
Does anybody else have questions? Aloha.
I just want to let you know, I also support the grocery cart
Oh, thank
bill. So thank you.
Appreciate that.
Aloha.
And I do too. Thank you so much for all of your service over the years as well.
Oh, thank you.
I also want to ask a question regarding the Resilience Hub funding that you introduced together with Councilwoman Esther Kiaina. Where is it today? What's the status on that?
Great question. So it's in the budget and it's up to the mayor to spend it. So deputy director, if you, as a cabinet member, if you can encourage the mayor to spend that. Right now, so what happened was they only put $2 million for a resilience hub in Hauula. And the administration was going forward with that. And I thought, hey, that's not fair. So I added on $2 million per council district. So at this point, they're moving forward with Hauula and they're not moving forward with any other community. But, you know, look at what happened in this last storm and the Kona lows. Every community should have one of these. So, you know, maybe we could do a resolution. I'll write it for you if you like. And where this community will, and this board pass a resolution that we can deliver and deliver to the deputy director, maybe even to the mayor saying, yeah, Kahala Neighborhood Board wants a hub. I'll do that for every neighborhood board, actually. See if we can get every neighborhood board in East Honolulu to support that.
Yeah, you know, as you know, I've been running around East Oahu trying to get resilient hubs here. And I'm hoping for 3 at least in East Oahu and mostly, and I'm looking forward to your speech as well, Representative Hart. Kalani and Ole is a one road through a thoroughfare. And if anything happens in East Oahu, between Waimanalo and the Waiʻalae-Kāhala freeway entrance and exit, we have some challenges there. And so I really hope that we could do something with this resilience hub. And if you need any support from the public, please let us know. I think we'd be very interested in learning more about that resolution and see what we can do with it, how we can support it.
Oh, thank you. Great idea. I mean, think about it. Although the storm was bad, it could have been way worse. I mean, my house, I live on Cocohead Avenue and I'm on a side of the mountain and it's posted pier and it's built 100 years ago. If we get a storm, my house is gone and everybody on my street and a lot of people on Wilhelmina Rise, the mountain at Manalani Heights where I live, gone. Where are we gonna go? Right? There's no place to go. You know, I bet you will end up going to the convention center, right? Remember not hurricane, it was the tidal wave tsunami warning. Yeah, that's where everybody went. But yeah, in East Honolulu, there's really no place to go. People went to a New Valley Elementary during that tidal wave scare. Did you guys see though, there was no place in East Honolulu in the newspaper where they laid out all the different places for people to evacuate. The city didn't have any place for East Honolulu. So yeah, I'll keep on top of that.
Anybody else on the board have any questions for Council Chair Tommy Waters? I've got one. What is currently the status of your
appeal?
Yes, and will you be able to run? And why does this whole thing smell like dirty Hawaii politics? Because the timing was weird and
yeah, I didn't want to bring it up, but since you did, so I'm appealing it, right? And there's a hearing next week, Tuesday at 2 p.m. before the Hawaii Supreme Court, and 2 justices recused themselves. And 6 ICA judges recused themselves. The only thing I can think of, I knew one of them pretty well. We were attorneys together at the public defender's office, the lead judge, Karen Nakasone, so that made sense. I think Judge Gluck used to work at Corporation Counsel with us, so that makes sense. And the only other thing, and I didn't look at the voter rolls, but I gotta think that they were voters in my district, right? And maybe they voted for me. I don't know, right? So that would be a conflict, perhaps. But anyway, the hearing is on next week, Tuesday. What's really troubling is that it was filed so late. Would have been great if it was filed in March when I pulled papers and filed. Then we would have known. Would have been done way earlier. So I don't know. I can't answer that. I can only speculate why it was filed so late.
Chairman, I am a little confused though. How is it determined that you were or were not a legitimate candidate when you applied?
Yeah.
Isn't there a process?
Yep.
And if they can't even determine, if they can't even determine if you're legitimate, how are they determine that voters are legitimate?
So they determined after looking at it, right? They believed as I do that 3.5 years did not equal a full 4-year term. That's what I argued. And the clerk agreed with me, so put me on the ballot. But one judge said no. It's one guy. To me, it was a close call. It could have gone either way, to be honest. And Judge Ashford said no. That's why we got 5 judges looking at it on Tuesday. We have 5, right? So that's, to me, I'll accept whatever the 5 judges say. I feel much better having the appellate court look at this rather than one guy, right? Judge Ashford.
But aren't you the one that's appealing it? Why
Yeah.
isn't the election committee appealing it?
Well, I don't know. I can't speak for, I can only speculate, but there's a lawsuit filed on behalf of 40 voters who felt disenfranchised, and they're contesting it as well. Yeah, actually, they asked that Tara Gregory be joined in the lawsuit. I'm not sure why they didn't ask Jason to join as well. I think he was equally affected by this, right? Because if I was, say, ineligible early on, who's to say my votes wouldn't have gone to Jason, right? I actually got almost 9,000 votes after being disqualified. Thank you all if you did vote for me. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. 9,000 votes. That's very heartwarming, actually. Thank you guys, whoever did actually vote for me. But yeah, we'll see. Tuesday. And whatever happens, happens. At first I was really sad. And then, it's like dying. You go, or someone dies, you go through this grieving process, right? Like you disbelief, oh my gosh, done. And then you're angry, and then you're sad, and then you accept it. So I'm at the point where I'm accepting it. Can you tell? I mean, I'm smiling and enjoying the last couple months that I have with you folks. No matter what, I'm still here until January 2nd, right? So count on me and Kevin Imanaka there, my staff. We're still here to serve you folks, no matter what happens. Yeah. And thank you for allowing me to serve you for the last 6 years, 7 years.
Again, thank you for showing up in person as
Yeah,
you
of course. Thanks, guys. All right. But for sure, pick up one of these envelopes, right? And if you want to take a few and hand them out to your friends, and if you need more, I got plenty. So let me know. Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. All right, Representative Mark Hashem.
Yes.
It's the new age. It's gonna be here.
First of all, I want to start off by saying thank you to Tommy Waters' office and the police. Because on the day after the storm, I drove around the district to see the damage. Unfortunately, there was no flooding within East Honolulu. Well, not no flooding, but there was very little flood damage, not like before in previous storms. But one thing that we all experienced was the power outage. Basically, all of East Honolulu was up. And so I contacted Tommy Waters' office because the real scary thing was all of Kalanianaole Highway was out. So the street lights were out in the morning. And it was a chaotic, not a chaotic mess, but it was a very dangerous situation for a road like that. So I reached out to Tommy Waters' office, said, hey, we need police on these intersections. And shortly after, the police came and they manned the intersection. So thank you very much. So, but fortunately for East Honolulu, that there was no major flood damage like our previous storms that came through. And the majority of the damage was mainly from wind, trees falling down, and power outage. Going back on Resilience Hub, I agree with you. I would like to work with the city because their previous people in the past have asked for information regarding shelters, hurricane shelters, and depending on the situation, the shelter is different. So if it's a tsunami, they have a different shelter. If it's a hurricane, it's a different shelter. So, and there's no, how do I say that? There's no set shelter for where to go. Where I think would be ideal is Wailupi Elementary back in the back of Haina, because they've opened that shelter, they opened that school before for as a shelter. And that's far outside of the tsunami zone. So that would be one good location. And maybe Popohead District Park might be another good location if that's outside of the tsunami zone too, isn't it? So, but I would love to work with you and the city to make sure something like that goes to a dedicated site where people can rely on going to. And I agree, we do need that. And I'm open for questions.
Rich?
Yeah, I just want to say, I think one of the reasons why there wasn't any flooding is, thank God, since the last floods, I don't know who does it, the city or the state, they have been dredging out the canals in our area. We can see them doing it, and it's a big relief because that prevents, all the canals in East Honolulu from flooding over, because that's what caused the last big flood. They didn't dredge some of those canals for decades, and it overflowed. But during the last few years, when I've seen that dredging equipment, on Kahala Beach and in other canals, I take a big sigh of relief, because I know that the chances of the flooding is going to be a lot less. So if you and Tommy and our elected officials can kind of keep that up, the dredging, it's going to save us from flooding and a lot of grief.
Yes, I agree.
Anybody else on the board of law?
Well, thank you again, Representative Asham. I want to thank you, first of all, for the help that you and Jane from your office did with the Kahala Hotel and Resorts easements. The 3 easements that are out there on the beach, although it passed through the many committees, including your water committee. Unfortunately, it never got onto the calendar for the Ways and Means Committee. And this is the second year that we've tried to get those easements passed. So I'm hoping that we can get your support again.
Yes.
For the 3rd year, and maybe some guidance on how we can best deal with the Ways and Means Committee to get onto their calendar.
Okay.
Yeah, I did send a note over to Senator De La Cruz on that. So now he's aware of that, because it never made it to Ways and Means before. So I think this time around we may have a little bit of a awareness in his office.
Good.
Yeah. And secondly, regarding the Resilience Hub, the Resilience Hub that we're envisioning is not just for gray skies, where we're looking at disaster readiness or post disasters, but also for blue skies. What can we do in terms of educating our communities and support, and also preparing for those events. And so I think that we need a lot of mana'o coming from different parts of our community, because it's going to take a village. And our village in East Oahu runs from Kaimuki, Palolo, all the way through to Waimanalo. I did have a walkthrough of the James building a couple of days ago with Mr. Hawaii. And I think it's another great site that we might want to take a look at in addition to the others. And that would be a good facility for both blue skies and gray skies activities. So your help with any of that would be fantastic. And I will send you a copy of our framework that calls for a three resilience hubs throughout East Oahu.
Okay. Do you have the locations? set?
No, I mean, we've got just prospective sites, but obviously it's going to take a lot more than just framework to make that happen. So
I would love to work with that.
okay, terrific. Thank you so much.
Does anybody else on the board have any questions for Representative Mark Hashem? Lee?
I just wanted to make you aware of something you're probably already aware of, because a lot of chatter of people trying to determine if they want to file an insurance claim on the damage done to the homes from this latest storm. The issue being, of course, there are very few companies with hazard insurance now, and reportedly people filing claims are being dropped at the end of the year by these companies. And of course, we need insurance for our mortgages. You know, after Yaniki, the state had to step in to help out with the hazard insurance, but it looks like that's going on again. And I don't know how you guys are monitoring that or looking at it. I talked to Senator Chang about it already, and he said he wants to look at it too, but just want to make you aware of that.
Yes, if there is a problem that arises, I would be more than willing to help work on that, because a good example of how the legislature stepped in, you remember when Puna area had the lava flow? Well, right before, what was it? Right as the lava flow was going, it was a slow, gradual creep of the lava, and it lasted weeks. Insurance companies were dropping people and not renewing their policies. So the legislature had to step in, and we passed legislation requiring them or not allowing them to do that, or dropping people right before the lava started to come to their house. So yes, there is precedent where the legislature stepped in and tried to help resolve these problems.
Does anybody else on the board have any questions for Representative Mark Hashem?
Hi, Representative Jason Liang. I was wondering, could you explain how the insurance commissioner functions, what their powers are, and if that's something that they could be more involved with in terms of, I guess, making more insurance more responsive to people's needs, or even just what the government can do in terms of lowering the costs? Because Hawaii has some of the highest HOA fees, and that's also because of our insurance rates as well.
Okay. Yeah, that's a difficult one. We tried to tackle that this year. Because it goes back. Well, we can discuss this offline. This is a lot more. Are you okay with that? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
And if you would want to bring up legislation and work on it at the legislature, I'll be more than willing to work on this. Because yes, it is an issue, because now the insurance companies are raising their rates, right? Or dropping associations completely, and then then the association has to go to the secondary market. So what was $200,000 or $300,000 before, all of a sudden becomes 1.5 million. And that is the real crux of the problem that a lot of the associations and condos have been experiencing. So yes, I would like to discuss this. So I would like to discuss this in more detail. If you have any ideas on how to tackle this, I'm all yours.
Anybody else on the board have any questions for Representative Mark Hashem? Anybody in the community? Any questions for Representative Mark Hashem?
This is something that I think I brought up several times in the past, but the fact that the Waiʻalae Avenue under the viaduct is riddled with potholes, and Casey Abe said I think it's planned to be repaved in 2027 or 2028. And if we wanted to get that pushed up, talk to you about trying to put money towards the DOT so that they can push it up, if that's something you can do, because, okay. To repave Waiʻalae Avenue under the viaduct. Because they did a repaving a few years back, but that was only Waiʻalae Avenue after the viaduct. And if you've ever driven down there, which you probably have, it's awful, yeah.
Any other questions for Representative Mark Hashem? Representative, appreciate you showing up in person today. We hope to see you again soon.
Yes.
Thank you. Representative Tina Grandinetti, are you here this evening?
I'm here.
Hello, hello. How we doing this evening?
Hello. Great. Amazing discussion. I feel like, you know, this is how it goes. Storms really make us ask hard questions. And even last night at the Kaimuki Neighborhood Board, really important discussions around resilience and disaster preparedness. I wanted to share that I had a town hall on disaster preparedness and resilience back in July. And since then, a project that my office has been undertaking is trying to help facilitate groups in the community to participate in HAIMA's Hawaii Hazard Awareness and Resilience Program. It's not necessarily a resilience hub, doesn't include physical infrastructure, but it's a training program for people in the community to develop the organizing skills and the networks, identify, you know, resources within the community so that if and when the unimaginable happens, there are members and leaders in the community who know how to handle that situation and come together at a moment's notice. Again, that's run by HAIMA, but we've been working really closely with them to try to identify folks who might be interested. And if you or anyone you know is interested, please get in touch with my office, particularly if you are involved with a neighborhood watch, or even if you have a text chain with people on your street. Those kind of like everyday interactions are, you know, harder to come by nowadays, and those are the really important building blocks for resilience. So that's one thing we've been working on. We'll also probably have the town hall again because we tried to do it in preparation for this active El Nino hurricane season, but as I was door knocking, inviting people, everyone was kind of like, oh, you know, we're really safe. We're pretty safe here in our neighborhoods. And that's always kind of the mentality until it's not. So given everything that we've been through and what's coming up ahead, we'll probably do that again in the coming months. I also wanted to add to the conversation around shelters and home insurance, that, you know, shelters and resilience hubs are one part of the solution. The other is that we need to strengthen our ability to be able to shelter in place. And, you know, in older communities with single wall homes and old roofs that are held down by gravity, we need to invest significant funding in helping homeowners to retrofit their homes. So last year we did allocate $4 million out of the green fee for a pilot program through HAIMA to help provide grants to low income and elderly homeowners to do that kind of retrofitting. $4 million is great for a pilot project, but it's not nearly enough. We need significant public investment for things like this. In Alabama and Florida, where, you know, hurricanes have been part of their reality for a long time, they've already invested. Alabama's invested $75 million over a decade. Florida invested $200 million. And all of these it's not just because of safety, because your roof blowing off, it's also because of the cumulative effect of your roof blowing off and hitting your neighbor's house. And it's also because of the insurance effect. If you take some of these proactive and precautionary measures, you are more likely to keep your coverage. And then the last thing I wanted to say on the insurance conversation is that we did, you know, a couple years ago, reactivate the Hawaii Hurricane Relief Fund for condo hurricane insurance. But the reality is that the insurance issue is also a climate issue. So I did want to share that I also introduced a bill last session alongside Senator Jarrett Keokolole to enable the state insurer, the HHRF, and private insurers to go after big oil and fossil fuel companies for these kinds of climate related damages. So it's a really, really big issue, but it's so important that we're starting to talk about this now. It's going to take all of us. So thank you very much for a really great conversation. Oh, and the one other thing I wanted to add, because I heard 2 quips about corruption in Hawaii politics, is that I did sign on to a letter to call for a special session to pass a bill to close the contractor loophole, which enables officials and their families of companies that have state contracts to donate to political campaigns. That bill almost passed last year. It was part of the Foley Commission's recommendation to like get money out of politics and address corruption. We got really close, but I feel we need to make sure that it passes. A special session is quite unlikely because you need 2/3 of the House and the Senate to agree to it. But I signed on to the letter because I want to be part of, pushing House and Senate leadership to make solid commitments around passing this bill and other kinds of campaign finance and good government reforms. There are lots of reasons, valid reasons not to have a special session, but I think we need to keep elevating that conversation and making sure it's a priority for all of us at the Ledge. And I'm here for questions.
What are the names of the legislators who voted against that? House and Senate.
Who voted against that bill?
Yeah.
I don't think it came down to a vote. It was more that it died either in conference or stalled in committee.
And so for the layperson,
It wasn't, it didn't die because it didn't have enough votes. It died because it got stalled somewhere in the legislative process. I think that one was at conference. It couldn't get through conference negotiations to decide on a final draft.
so it just ran out of gas, pulled over on the side of the road.
Yeah, there were significant disagreements between the House and the Senate, I think. And sometimes measures like this take a few years to, iron out the details.
Thank you. Does anybody on the board have any questions for Representative Tino Grandinetti? Anybody in the community have any questions?
Hi, Tina. This is Kahi Picaro. I just had a comment. Thank you so much for signing on to that letter to call for a special election or a special session to tackle corruption in the contractor loophole. That is something that every legislator has been given the opportunity to sign. So that's one way for us to understand who supports closing a loophole that's being used to funnel campaign contributions into people's coffers. So that's one way for us to see publicly who's on it or who's for it or who's against it.
So you have.
I would just add that like special session takes it takes taxpayer money and it takes, I think there are, I would say call and ask your legislator if they support the passage of that bill. Because I know that some people do, but didn't sign on because they're, maybe not willing to come back for a special session before January, but come January, they will be strong supporters. So for me, I wanted to kind of give it an extra punch, and there were a handful of other legislators who felt the same.
So getting rid of corruption is important, but not important enough to show up before January. Please.
I think timing is really important here. I just want to mention to everybody that the reason they're calling a special session is because campaign fundraising starts the day after the general election, right? So from that time between the beginning of November to the start of the Ledge, they are fundraising like crazy. And that's why they don't want to hold this right now. They want to be able to have as much time to continue to utilize this contractor loophole and other campaign techniques to bolster up their coffers. That's why it's important to do this special session now.
Sorry. Thank you for that, Kai. Appreciate that. Tina, I would like a list. Names. Give me names. Give me specific people who are responsible, because there's always, it's the weirdest thing. You can always figure out who's responsible, except when it comes to politics, and then it just kind of obfuscates itself.
For the death of that bill, in this case, I gave you an honest answer. It was a disagreement between the House and Senate between the two versions, which, well, but yeah, I'm sort of glad it didn't pass, because by that time it had been watered down. So I'm hopeful that we'll pass a good bill.
Thank you very much. Does anybody else in the community have any questions for Tina Grandinetti? All right, Tina, a pleasure to see you as always. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Stay safe, everybody.
As well. Up next, Senator Stanley Chang. Do we have a representative from Senator Stanley Chang's office? Don't once, don't twice. Sold. Ed Case, Senator Ed Case, I believe, has a representative here this evening.
Thank you, Chair. Are you able to hear me?
We can hear you just fine.
Awesome. Good evening indeed, Chair Tecuevero, members of the board. Congratulations on your re-election this evening. Thank you for allowing me this time. I'll try to be brief. My name is Kekoa Kaluhiva. I serve as Deputy Chief of Staff for Congressman Ed Case here in Honolulu. I'm based in the local office here. Certainly your resource if there's any way we can help you or your community. In the chat, I've provided links to our third quarter newsletter for all of the 24 neighborhood boards within our district. If you don't know what our district areas are, basically from Makapu'u out to Mililani and westward towards Kapolei. So with that said, I wanted to just extend, of course, Congressman's aloha to you and thank you for your service to our communities. Just a few updates now that we are in the middle of midterm elections. The work of Congress continues nevertheless. Congressman Case's mission is threefold, if I were to explain it, which is to lead our country, lead our Hawaii, and of course, help you and your families on an individual basis. Congressman is a member of the House Appropriations Committee, which includes the review and approval of all of the 12 bills that fund our entire federal government. So that's done on an annual basis. His Appropriations Committee just concluded their approval of the 12 bills, and now they are awaiting review and approval by the entire House of Congress, House of Representatives. He's also in the subcommittee on Homeland Security. I mentioned that because of the impacts from the Hurricane Lala and then the incoming storm this weekend. That subcommittee that he's on has direct oversight over funding of FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency. So that's our sort of back of office support that we're standing by and supporting at the national level. We had met with with Mayor Blangiardi a couple days ago to check in on the city, and of course in direct contact with Governor and his team on ways we can help with funding. Congressman is continuing his bipartisan efforts to reform gerrymandering through his Problem Solvers Caucus, also working with his colleagues in the Pacific Islands Caucus to counter growing transnational crime in the Indo-Pacific through the Pacific Islands Liaison Initiative Act. There's a lot more details that I'll spare you tonight because I know time is limited. If you would go to the link on our latest newsletter, it'll give you much more information on the federal funding that he's continuing to support and provide to our communities here in Hawaii. I also wanted to just make mention something that's been of importance to your community in particular, which is the Federal Aviation Administration Hawaii Airspace Modernization Project. This is a multi-year effort to modernize Hawaii's airspace, improving safety and updating flight procedures, also looking at community concerns that we often hear at our office, like low altitude commercial flights, nighttime operations, congestion around Honolulu, and tour helicopter patterns over residential areas. This project has now moved into the solution development phase, which means the FAA is actively working on actual airspace and flight procedure changes. I encourage anyone who's interested in this or being able to provide feedback if you're concerned or have some knowledge to share with the FAA, to please take a look at that website that's in the comments for more information. Looking ahead, our office is accepting applications for nominations to the U.S. Military Service Academies, as well as this year's Congressional App Challenge for students. More information on both of those opportunities can be found on our website at case.house.gov. And lastly, I guess as I think about my particular role here in the local office, if you or anyone in your community ever needs help with any federal agency, whether it's veterans, Social Security, passport assistance, or anything else, we're here to help. So I encourage you to give us a call at 808-650-6688 or through our website, once again, at case.house.gov. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'll stop now if you have any questions.
So are we safe to assume that your position and attendance will continue after the election?
Thanks for asking that. It will, with one caveat. So as the leader of this office here, 4 of us, including myself, our goal is to try and touch bases with your board at least every quarter, 3 or 4 months, given that we have 24 boards to cover and 4 of us. So to the extent we can be of assistance, we'll provide regular newsletter updates to you. But again, feel free to reach out to me if there's any questions in between those check-ins with you.
Thank you very much. And tell the senator he's also free to pop his head in anytime he wants and come talk with some of the lovely members of the community we got going on over here.
My aloha to the elected officials as well. Mahalo.
Thank you. Does anybody on the board have any questions for the representative from Ed Case? John?
Hi, Keikoa.
Aloha.
On the FAA airspace in the solution thing, does it have anything that's going to be helpful regarding tour helicopters? How low they fly, how close they fly, and the noise they make? Because that's been a big issue in our district.
In short, yes, that's a part of this effort. So I encourage you to, if you're interested in doing so, please pay attention and take a look at that website. That is part of this ongoing effort.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else on the board? Aloha?
Aloha, Keikoa. I
Aloha.
have one question. Is your office involved in any of the negotiations of military lease lands?
In a way, yes. So back to the first, what I mentioned earlier, Congressman Case is on the Appropriations Committee, which includes the subcommittees on national defense and homeland security. So when it comes to funding of the military, that's sort of our direct influence on those military leases. I am aware that he's in regular communication with the other members of the Hawaii delegation, as well as Governor Green, which is also somewhat taking lead with the military.
Thank you.
Mahalo.
Justin?
Hi, Keikoa. See, I would like to ask that Representative Ed Case consider that when a Medicare for All bill comes to the House, that he vote yes on it. Many analysts are predicting that there will be a Democratic majority, and many of these candidates who will be entering the House of Representatives have run on Medicare for All. We are the wealthiest country in the nation, and we are the only OECD nation to not provide health care to all of our citizens. So I ask that when that bill comes into the House, that Representative Ed Case please vote yes on it. Thank you.
Thank you. And if I may respond to that, board member, congratulations on being elected onto the board this evening. It was a comment that you shared with me last week at the Diamond Hill Neighborhood Board. And if the chair so wishes, I'm happy to provide a written response to your board on the congressman's position.
The chair does wish for it. It'd be
Will do.
excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else on the board have any questions for Representative Ed Case's representative? Anybody in the community have any questions for Ed Case's representative? Keiko, it is a pleasure to meet you. We look forward to your quarterly reports and interactions. And again, if you can lure the senator out, we don't bite. We're fun to play with. It's a good time over here. So tell them to come on by, say hello.
For what it's worth, you have a great vibe. I love the cordial aloha sort of perspective that your board maintains.
Thank you. Don't believe the facade. It is cheap and
As a former
I appreciate
neighborhood
that.
board member. So mahalo nui. Aloha.
Perfect. All right. On to the good stuff. Residents' community concerns. Is Vincent Levy here? Vincent.
Actually, Chris Hollis, I'm the events director. I was able to make it tonight. I'm from Hawaii Bicycling League. I'm here to present the Honolulu Century Ride, which will be happening on September 27th, the last Sunday of the month of next month. It's going to start and finish at Kapolei Park. We're also going to have live entertainment on the stage down there. So if none of you are cyclists, you can come down and enjoy some live music from the Royal Hawaiian Band and the USAF Band of the Pacific. We're expecting around 1,200 riders that are going to be going anywhere from 13 to 100 miles across the south and windward coast of Oahu. For traffic measures, we're going to have the Makai Lane of Diamond Head Road closed for just about an hour in the morning. And then for a few hours, Kalanianiole will have the Makai Lane only coned off for cyclists just to get all of them out. And then they'll be trickling in throughout the day, not causing too much trouble. That's about it. Just short and sweet announcement.
Excellent. Does anybody on the board have any questions? The Hawaii Bicycling League. Anybody in the community have any questions?
Thank you, guys.
Does Malia Haranaga still work with you guys?
Malia, yes.
Give her my love, please.
I will. She said she knew you when I sent the email.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. Dallin, I believe you had something about the roundabouts at Kilauea Avenue. Yeah. Perfect.
You guys got the picture? Cool. Okay. So, it's been brought to the board, in the past, but, Kilauea is slated for a, complete streets, redesign, which is basically where they like redo Kilauea Avenue to make it safer for everybody, you know, slow down traffic so people aren't using it like a freeway, stuff like that. And what I wanted to put to the board at least was to, I don't know if there's enough space actually at that 18th and Kilauea intersection, but to convert at the very least, I think that's Hunakai, Waio, and that Pupanini, I think, to roundabouts, along with a like 2 to 1 way, 4 lane to 2 lane conversion of Kilauea Avenue. And basically that's just because, as Rich has been complaining for the past few years, he hates sitting at that damn red light. And the best thing about roundabouts is you don't have to stop and you don't have to wait for anybody. So that's my sell to you personally. But and also the fact that like basically, yeah, you don't have to worry about like sitting at the red light, and it's safer for everybody. And I guess my sell to you too, Christian, because you're in landscaping, you could put a wonderful little tree in the middle of those, add more shade to the street. And with the save space, you can, you know, add some more greenery, widen the sidewalks, because those sidewalks are way too narrow over there. And that's my sell to the community. No, I'm just bringing it to you guys, and then you guys can bring it to like DTS, I guess. But it is in the plan. I think it's going to be like they're going to come back to us sometime in like 2027 or 2028. But just Christian just recommended I bring it to you guys now so that they know, so that I don't bring it up to them 2 years down the line and they're like, oh, well, we already got plans for this. So yeah.
So have you brought this up to the Complete Streets folks and
They
DTS.
said they
Now
probably won't have enough money to do a signalized intersection to a roundabout conversion, but
Oh.
I might as
Sounds
well.
like a neat idea. I
I
haven't
know,
thought of it.
especially some of my friends live down Pupanini, and usually I'm like coming from like school or work to pick them up, and crossing Kilauea, if you've ever done that coming from the H1, it is a nightmare because that's like 4 lanes plus 2 parking lanes that you got to cross, and you're looking both ways, and it's awful and it's a nightmare, and I really would like that to change.
I've seen that in other cities. They're really nice, those
Yeah.
roundabouts. Yeah. Okay. Well, great idea if you can present it to
Yeah.
DTS.
But yeah, just bring it up to you guys.
Excellent. Yeah, if we can, let's talk about how we can get it to DTS and make sure that they're aware of it. And then also complete the streets. Brian and I met with them at their headquarters once. Tommy, is that funding coming from that you guys, or is there a way that we could somehow get his ideas in front of whoever would be in charge of that budgeting or appropriation for that type of funding? Or at least to study it.
First, I want to say, great idea. I like roundabouts. And that one intersection you're talking about is really dangerous. There's so many accidents. Pupanini and Kilauea. A roundabout would be awesome. You know, that complete streets idea that they want to take 4 lanes down to 2 is actually kind of controversial, right? So, yeah, so hey, maybe we can save money from not going down to 2 lanes, take that money and build a roundabout. But, you know, we got to ask the deputy director to stay for these kinds of issues, because we got the deputy director here. But no, I totally love the idea.
You'll just tell us, go to HNL 311.
Yeah.
Well, we'll make sure that's added to the agenda next time so that when he's here,
Perfect.
we can bring it up directly and then we can get an answer from Hong Lee. Because if there's one thing that we've seen with that gentleman, he is efficient. He is so good at getting answers for us, and he is open to all good ideas. And this certainly sounds like a well-received idea. So also, if it's good enough for Europeans, it's good enough for us.
Can I ask if there's something written up besides just that picture that we can look at, or?
No, I just kind of like threw together that picture in Photoshop. But yeah.
Yeah, could you write up something and send us that picture? We can all look at
Yeah,
it?
sure. I can do that.
you.
Oh, Council Chair Waters.
I will say this, though, years ago, the city approved the roundabout at the bottom of Waiʻalae Ridge. Right? Perfect spot, because people, when they come down the hill, they speed. And it'd be perfect. You gotta go stop and go around, or at least slow down. And the community nixed it. They said, we don't want a roundabout, which is sad. Yeah, no, they like speeding.
Alan, thank you for bringing that before us, and we'll make sure that Hong Lee gets to hear about it as well at the next meeting.
We're in resident community concerns too, right?
Yes.
Okay. My other
Limited to
thing-
3 minutes, though. I'm trying to make sure we get to everybody.
yeah.
So if we can, no, please don't like say what you're going to say, but
Mhm.
I just want to be cognizant to make sure we can get.
I
there.
guess I was just thinking about this when I was sitting over here. Like usually when there's like no water, like Board of Water Supply comes out with a water truck.
Mhm.
Is there anything we can do similar where like if there's no power, then like Hiko comes out with like a truck with a giant battery on it and everybody can just like plug in their stuff? Because after the first day of power outages, we were like all of our portable chargers were out, and basically we're just like sitting in the car waiting for all of our stuff to plug because that was the only way we were getting power. So is there, I don't know if that's possible, but
a paperback book.
Resilience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my
An excellent question. See if we can look into it somehow. My guy's saying no. I'm sorry. No, but it is a good question. And actually, on the topic of, I was about to say Hiko and microgrids. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Just part of community concerns. I also want to do a PSA that There will be a Maumai Park cleanup Sunday at 7:30 a.m. to 9:30, bearing that the weather holds up. I also have a survey from HARD, Ha'ione Advocates for Responsible Development. They ask that you take the survey. I will leave it at the table back here. And also, I want to propose that I bring draft resolutions. One is to make HECO a public utility. The idea is that they are a monopoly, they are profitable, and it is not profitable to prevent harm. There was a building in Waikiki, I believe, like 40 stories, and they went several days without power. There were people who were mobility challenged, and that residents nearby mentioned how the hotels had their power come back up, but that the residential buildings nearby did not. So I will again reiterate that they are privately owned, and BlackRock, which is a notorious investment firm, is a majority shareholder. I believe the CEO has a salary of $4 million a year. And when Hurricane Iniki hit Kauai, that they turned their public utility into a cooperative. They have the highest amount of green energy on the island. They have a slightly lower kilowatt hour cost than we do. And I will also note that they had a much lower percentage of outage than Oahu, granted population difference and intensity that we were hit. But also, as another PSA, that I've asked our wonderful council member, Chair Waters, to ask DEM to provide more training sessions for the CERT, Community Emergency Response Team. That is training for damage assessment, warning notification, evacuation, emergency triage, first aid, search and rescue. As these storms and other natural disasters become more prevalent, that the community can utilize this training, which is free, in order to better serve the community, as we also create more of these resilience hubs. That this training is very valuable. Let's see, and I also want to bring a draft resolution next month for a property tax cap. Chair Waters mentioned that there's a tax credit if your income, if the property taxes exceed 3% of your household income. The amendment or resolution that I would propose would be an amendment to reduce that to limit that to 1% of your household income and raise the cap to $120,000 per year, household income per year. The logic behind that is that median income is about $120,000, depending on your family size, but that much money doesn't go very far nowadays. And that as property taxes, which coincide with property assessed values, continue to rise, that people are paying more and more. And that if we can limit our property taxes for those of us who qualify, that it would keep retired folks in their homes longer, and that it would also allow for family members, descendants to inherit the homes that they grew up in rather than to be pushed out. And that's all. I can take questions on those proposals if the chair allows.
Yes, but very quickly. Anybody on the board have anything to say about that? John?
On the property tax, I mean, I love it, but is there a way to recover the lost revenue? Or is it going to just be budget cuts too?
Yeah, so this would coincide with a additional property tax tier, proposal for an additional property tax tier. And we can start that at values of $10 million and above. And the idea is that if you own a property of $10 million and more, that you should not be paying a property tax similar to someone who owns a $1.5 million home, $3 million home. And that the likelihood that if you own a property valued at $10 million and above, you're likely using it as an investment vehicle. And it is the commodification of property and the purchase of property as an investment, like a bank account or a CD or a stock, that drives property
I apologize.
property values
I
up.
need to wrap this one. Thank you. Anybody in the community, quick questions on that? Excellent. Moving on, Miss, I believe you have a announcement.
Aloha, my name is Melissa, and with me today is Haumea. We are the mentors to some amazing and terrific public and private high school students in your community and throughout the island. And they are working very hard to end food insecurity. There are going to be 20 charter amendment questions on the November 3rd ballot. question number 1 pertains to food security, and the students would like to come and do a presentation if you have a meeting, another meeting before November 3rd, as well as go to the other neighborhood boards. We just promised to come to make sure that you don't bite and to find out. And we learned a couple things. So first of all, your meetings last a tad longer than we had anticipated. And second, it would be better if they had requested to be on the agenda or we had this time. So I apologize for just jumping in on this, but this question number 1 on the ballot is going to have 0.5% of the real property tax go towards food insecurity, and it'll be for local agriculture and food banks. And in the event of a disaster, it could also be used for non-local food like canned goods. But it's a really important measure that could raise up to $8 million for food insecurity, and it comes out of existing tax revenue. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
We have a little flyer and we'll leave it here.
Please pass it around. and
Thank
if
you,
could
thank you.
hand it out to the board as well as anybody sitting over there. Does anybody on the board have any questions? It was Melissa, was it?
Yes.
Melissa, does anybody on the board have any questions for Melissa? Aloha.
Melissa, good to see you again. I do have a question. Is this the proposal 119 that you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. All right, because
There were hundreds of proposals and 20 were selected for the ballot.
Right.
I'm pretty sure the voters are gonna struggle to read 20, so yes on 1.
yeah.
Number 1.
Okay, that's great. Because one of, so I belong to a group called the Kiskahui, and we just formed 2 weeks ago a Kiskahui Haumana Youth Sustainability Coalition. And Navarro Dundur, who's a student, junior at Kalani High School. Do you know Navarro? Anyway, he.
We have some Kalani High School students, so I
Yes.
will make sure to connect them, or maybe I can connect with you and we can
That'd
make
be
sure.
great. Yeah,
Thank
that'd be
you.
great because he also is proposing that we all vote for proposal 119, and we're going to be sending it out to about 171 people in Hui and others. So mahalo for presenting that today.
Thank you. I know it says yes on 1, and somebody pointed out it looks like Yesoni. So we need to get our little logo more accurate, but it won't be called 119 anymore. So it'll be question 1.
Excellent. Yeah, if you reach out directly, what we can do is if they're kids and they need to go to bed at an earlier time, we can move them
I
up on the
mean,
agenda.
they're 16-year-olds. I bet they stay up later than we do, but that would be great and amazing. And if we could squeeze them in at the next meeting, that'd be awesome.
Anything that gets them to involve civically, phenomenal.
Thank you so much.
Does anybody have any problems with that?
Good idea.
I will send an email.
Perfect. Kai?
Hi, Kaki.
Yes, so sounds
Yes, Oni. Yes.
I just had 2 things. I thought that the yes only you could play on it. I think that's good. Secondly, when you talk about these 0.5% of taxes, one of the reasons people quickly say no is because I think it's an additional tax. So the education really needs to be focused on that this is not an additional tax. I just highly recommend more focus there.
Thank you so much. And I love starting with the why we need it and what it will go for, but that is the first thing that people think of. And so thank you. Really important. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you both for taking the time to come down this evening and send us that email. We'll make sure we're well prepared.
I am afraid to leave. I hear that you talk about people when they leave, but I will stay as long as I can.
It's crazy. We would never. All right. Anything else in resident concerns? Guy?
Sorry, I've been up with this mic a lot tonight. Sorry. I just wanted to thank the community for an amazing election. I want to thank the board for allowing me to participate and learn more about our community. It's been an absolute ride. You know, statewide, our turnout was roughly 30%, but for our district, we made it exciting and we got 50% turnout, which is huge. So I just want to thank everybody for participating, and let's see what the next 2 years brings.
Excellent. Thank you, Kai. All right, moving on to board business, unfinished business and presentations. We're gonna roll through this real nice, fast, quick. Approval for June 18th regular meeting minutes. Can I get a
I move to have it passed.
perfect? All in favor? All opposed? Excellent. Meeting minutes pass. Let's see. Discussion on and the invitation for interested residents to participate in reestablishing the investigative permitted interaction group. Aloha. Aloha, I believe we're no, oh, no, absolutely not. Yep, going back to the pig that had been disbanded and is now being rebanded, if you please.
Okay, yes, so the past PIG that we formed to review the PUC, the Primary Urban Center Development Plan, and the East Honolulu Sustainable Communities Plan has been disbanded in order for us to align with the Neighborhood Commission Office policies and procedures. So as a result, we are planning to now reinstate a new PIG or PIG, and we will be looking to invite those of you who would like to become part of that PIG next month. So we'll be submitting a new resolution next month, and we'll be inviting others to please join. So we'll be looking for 4 board members to join from this Waiʻalae-Kāhala Neighborhood Board, and up to 8 members of the community to participate with us. We're looking for a total of 12.
Excellent. For those of you who haven't worked with Aloha, fantastic member of the community, knows everybody. And also very comfy boardroom we get to sit in as we go through it. So that's great. But no, very involved. So thank you again for all the effort that you've been putting in. In terms of the PIG, do we need to do anything to, it's on the agenda, so we're good? Beautiful. I love it. Aloha, any last thing you'd like to say about it before we move on?
No, just an invitation for people to please let me know if they'd like to join the new PIG. And we'll probably have our first meeting sometime in November. I mean, sometime in November, because I think, Anson, we need to submit the resolution, the new resolution in October or September, and then have our first meeting in either October or November.
Yep, you can submit it on September, and then we don't need to know about the meeting. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's on you guys. You guys do whatever you want.
Okay, very good. So I'll submit it in September.
Yep.
Thank you.
Excellent. I would like to reestablish my interest again to be a part of the PIG.
I don't think we can receive names in this meeting.
All right, absolutely.
Otherwise, we're not going to be complying with the NCO
Oh, yes.
policies and procedures.
I hear their commissioners are very stickler and fun. Okay, there we go. Moving on. Formation of the permitted interaction, a PIG regarding the Department of Education lot on Pu'upanini Avenue. Establishment of an investigative permitted interaction group regarding conditions of the facility. Please introduce yourself at the microphone, sir.
I'm Barrett Francis, and I've been here before speaking to you about this particular property, and appreciated all the discussion last meeting in June about this and how to possibly approach it with a PIG. I had not heard of these new Neighborhood Commission Office policies and procedures for a PIG, so maybe that would have some bearing on this. I hadn't heard of those.
Oh, wait, are you do you already have the set group of people that you want to form with the pig already? So the way we start, we're supposed to have is, you guys are supposed to have like 3 meetings in total. The first meeting is just, oh, well, what I mean meetings is have it at the board. You're supposed to have your intentions of the pig, have your members, and then the board will form the pig. And in the second meeting, you guys bring your findings, and then if you have any like what's it called, any actions, that happens on the third meeting. At this meeting, I mean, you can have your meetings outside, whatever, you know, outside. You can do anything. It's just you bring your findings on the second meeting, and the third meeting, the board votes on it. Or if you have any actions, the board will vote on it. Okay. So do you have it ready?
You know, Anson, I would suggest, because I don't think he has the NCO
Oh, okay. Oh,
regulations. Would you
maybe,
email it to
yeah.
him so
I'll
that-
actually, yeah, I'll just email you like what's the rules,
The
for a pig,
guidelines.
the guidelines.
Well, it sounds
Yeah,
like,
that'll be easier.
if I may, I looked at this board's resolution that created the Kiskahui pig. But it sounds like you were saying that had to be, and that was from like 2025.
Okay,
Was I misunderstanding it? Because it sounded like you were saying that pig had to be discontinued for some reason because the rules had changed.
Oh, no, the rules is not the rules that change. It's just that they're adding members to the pig that it was already established. So the first meeting over here, our Kāhala board, when you establish it, you're supposed to have like all the members already. So that's the.
I see. So at the time you establish it, you need to state the members, and then.
So can we say that this is a call to pig, and that Barry is expressing his interest in creating a pig so that the community may rally around his pig and express our interest in being a part of the pig?
I can send you that. Well, the things that you're saying, I mean, I came prepared tonight with it, so.
This is, I would say, a call to pig, not an official establishment of pig,
Yeah.
but rather the expression of interest in pig. I hate bureaucracy because he's saying this. Barry, would you like to give your presentation about how you are expressing interest in maybe one day forming a pig, definitely next meeting?
Thank you. Anson, can you show, yes. So the green highlighted area is the 6.5 acre property that would be basically the subject of this particular pig. It's owned by the state of Hawaii and is currently managed by the Department of Education. And concerns about this property have been coming to this board for quite a number of years. I was looking back at some old emails and things, and I think it came here first in 2014 with when DOE first obtained the property. And there would be really 3 purposes of the pig. Firstly, and Anson, did you receive that second? Because then I could show the areas. Yes, so there is a close-up of the property, the little red balloon, I guess you would call it, on the building. That is the main building of the property, but that entire property all around it is a 6.5 acres site. Can you zoom in at all, Anderson? Good. So there you can now see the street names of Pu'upanini Avenue and Palikaua Avenue going on the right side, going past the property, and you can sort of see how the cars and some of the dilapidated buildings, some of which aren't even probably safe anymore. The first discussion point of the pig would be to come up with some plan or proposal to assist DOE with their landscaping thoughts concerning their frontage along Pu'upanini Avenue and also their frontage along Waiʻalae-Kāhala Avenue, where you see at the end of Waiʻalae-Kāhala at the bottom is the Variety School, which is you may be familiar with it. It's I'm not sure how I would best describe it, but it's a special ed school that has been there for some decades. And those kids all walk around that area commonly. And because of the poor condition, it's even problematic for them. And they sometimes have to go out into the street to get around some of the debris and problems. But anyway, that would be the first phase of the PIG, would be to come up with landscaping or other ideas to assist DOE, possibly with some sort of a community-based public-private partnership with DOE to spare them all of their resources on it, because they have better things to use their resources on to take care of this property, that frontage area for the community. The second part of the PIG would be that this property has been underutilized for a long time, really for as long as DOE has had it. At one time, there was consideration originally of DOE developing the property in some way to make money for themselves. Those plans fell aside, and decisions were made that they weren't really able to do that. So the property now remains dormant in this way, and I felt that many of us felt that having the PIG receive information and community input and expert input about what a better use could be of the property that would sort of enrich the community, support resiliency, those sorts of things. Could be a number of ideas, but that would be really a detailed investigative process, including receiving some of the detailed information about the property itself, which is much of it is public records, but I figured it could be requested by the PIG in a formal capacity, either through letters or otherwise, and then have the community come up with meaningful proposals for how the 6.5 acre parcel could be better utilized for the benefit of the community. And that could, of course, include DOE's designs on the property, because they did the one building that you see there with the red balloon on it, or whatever you want to call it, marker, that is used as offices. It's a bit dilapidated, and I know it's in need of maintenance, but they do use it for the curriculum management area for the entire DOE. So that much of it is used, but the rest of the property really is not. And then I guess lastly would be if the PIG came up with some notion of what the property might be well used for in a community sense, they could put that proposal here before this neighborhood board to see if that was worthy of passing in a resolution, and put that out to the powers that be. But then it would have the support of not only this board, but also community members who would participated and given testimony. And the alternative, if this was not done, would be that it will just languish here, and as it has been, and perhaps eventually some proposal would come forward, but it really would end up being presented here as sort of a fait accompli, the way such proposals tend to be, and you're then sort of caught flat-footed with no real community inputs onto the process, other than just saying thumbs up or thumbs down on some process that was come up with in some bureaucratic fashion behind closed doors. So that's the idea of the PIG and the purposes for it. We do have a few community members on our end who would be interested. It might be best to do it at the next meeting, because I have one or two more people that I know are interested, and they haven't authorized me to put their names forward tonight, but 3 of us are. But and then I don't know who on this board may or may not be interested in participating in the PIG if it were passed.
Excellent. Does anybody on the board have any questions for Barry?
How about Vanessa from the governor's office? You mentioned her earlier. Did she leave? Because she was Department of Education, right? But yeah. Okay.
That would be a nice middle ground, especially with the governors. I think that's a wise idea. Anybody else on the board have any questions?
Not at this time, but I think it would be good if I think you've already submitted in writing your proposal. Maybe we need to review it as a board and as a board business and decide.
I think getting it in early so that it's in your board packet in advance so that then submit maybe for September.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
And just to reiterate on this problem, this is something that has been coming up month after month after month after month. Randy, who's not here this evening, is he okay?
He's in, I think, Colorado.
I hope he's enjoying himself. Randy has been coming to literally every single meeting for the past almost 2 years now, with one single goal in mind, and that is to crush the Department of Education under his heel and bring them to bear to make them care for the property the way that the rest of us are required to. DPP has actually been on a ticketing spree in the Kāhala area and making sure that everybody else is keeping their properties nice and clean. And the way that they've maintained their property has been unacceptable. So, yeah, hopefully we can get somewhere with this route in the ways that the polite requests and getting the legislators to represent and work with when they're not busy, ignoring their emails, can get us a little bit more progress on this. Hello?
Yeah, I just want to confirm that this property is in sub-district 4. Is that correct?
It is.
Okay.
I have confirmed it.
Okay.
And we can reconfirm it.
Right.
The property itself is, as well as my residence, which is across the street from it, and some of the other residences.
Okay, so we'll review this.
It's
as a
funny
board.
because the border goes right around. The border is funny the way it goes, but it goes right down Panini Avenue. Yeah, all the way down to 22nd Avenue, and then it goes back up. So this property is actually the last piece of it.
Is anybody on the board interested in joining the pig? Well, I myself, I know I'm very interested. Anything to get them moving and clean this up, John?
Think about it.
Okay. All right. So members, have your members. We'll review it as a board as well. Go through it, make sure everything is set up as.
I'll send you information about.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you. That's fine. And may I ask, when a pig operates, I assume that, and I hope this is correct, that part of the benefit of having a pig is that informal communications are allowed to occur. Does it, so that it doesn't have to constantly be a meeting as such, people can send group emails and.
Right, yeah. That's
So it
right.
makes it much easier to do than at a meeting like this where.
That's right, that's right.
Where it's too cumbersome.
Yeah, I think if you read the guidelines, it'll be much easier for you to develop the pig. And, you know, depending on how much time is involved, I'd love to help as well, but
I think one thing is we do have people in the neighborhood who would be willing to do a substantial part of the
that'd be great.
the legwork. And honestly, the board members participating, it would be more for them to just be aware of what was being reported so that when it did come time to come back to the full board for a vote, if something did, that they would be informed. But our community is fully prepared to do all the legwork. I mean, we would want to do that. So we try to burden you all as little as possible, given what you're already doing here, if I may.
Well, thank you, Barry. I appreciate you bringing this. And again, hopefully we'll get some steam behind this as well, because y'all have been patient. All right, moving on, unfinished board business. I'm going to roll through this real quick, just because it is 9:30. Gentleman who keeps this place open for us, I'm sure would love to go home. 949 Kealalo Place, Kāhala. They still have their unpermitted golf fence up. It's been almost over a year now. So if DPP can step up and actually do something about that that would be most glorious, and I know that they're still dealing with that. Kilauea Avenue, chronic vehicle occupation and street maintenance. Making sure that the vehicles that are parked along those roads are not being occupied in a habitual manner that makes the community feel as though they are at risk. Let's table this for next one. Everybody okay with that? Perfect. Waiʻalae Stream homeless encampment. We've requested some information on this. I think we'll probably wait till after the storms come back to this. Some process. Board correspondence, we'll go ahead and skip that, and put that on table for next. Red Hill Registry.
Hello, my name is Tara Sutton. I'm the Director of Community Engagement for the Red Hill Registry. I just want to thank you, Chair, for letting us come here tonight and us. It looks singular, right? I have a partner on screen. This is Colin. He is one of our community engagement specialists with the registry. I don't know if you need him to share screen or if you have the slides that I sent. Either way is fine with me. Just let me know what is best for you. Go ahead, Colin. So as I said, I'm the Director of Community Engagement for the Red Hill Registry. I'm sure most people here already know about the Red Hill water crisis from a couple of years ago. So I won't go into detail about that, but if there are questions, I did drink the fuel. I'm very experienced about the whole situation and very knowledgeable, so I can answer questions to that, but I'll just speak to what the registry does and what we've been doing and what our goals are. So with this slide here, what I would like to just kind of point out is that we have a really extensive team, and it has a really broad range of collaborative relationships across the University of Hawaii. We are based out of the Office of Strategic Health Initiatives at the University of Hawaii system. That's where I work. And then we also have partners in the Thompson School of Health and Social Work and Public Health. And then the University Health Partners is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that manages our data and keeps it HIPAA compliant. And then we also have clinical guidance and partner relationships with MDs at JAPSOM, and then we have water specialists at the Water Research Resource Center. Next slide. So from day one, the registry has prioritized engaging with and listening to community members. Staff frequently attends local meetings such as these, open houses, the Water Commission, the CWRM, and the Hawaii State Emergency Response Commission. We do community service projects, including food drive, clean water distribution, cleanups. Last year, we spoke in 8 different high school classrooms, and earlier this year, we had an exhibit table at the state capitol's UH Research Day. And the registry's community advisory work group is another way that the community can be involved with us. And that meets every 6 weeks with me for 2 hours, and they have really been instrumental in providing key feedback on everything from enrollment criteria, logo development, previewing survey instruments, and even specialized widget tools that aren't yet public, things that we're in the process of developing. All of this has made it so that community voices remain at the center of all of our work and every product that we produce. For example, next slide. The registry is driven by 3 very clear community-supported goals. First, we are an exposure registry, so it is our goal to capture each participant's unique exposure scenario and track their health over time. Second is to support the community with connections to a range of resources and needed services. And then third is to produce educational materials designed for healthcare professionals, community members, and other communities experiencing similar crises. Unfortunately, Red Hill is not the only incident of jet fuel contaminated water, whether it be drinking water or groundwater. And so the things that we learn as a result of the data collected in the Red Hill Registry are going to be invaluable across our country. Let's see, next slide. The community emphatically asked us to leave no one behind. That was even before we launched for enrollment, that was being said, leave nobody out. So to honor this request and to acknowledge the long history of environmental contamination from the Red Hill facility, we've developed different questionnaires to capture unique exposure scenarios. The first questionnaire is where everybody starts. And this is a 10-minute pre-enrollment survey, basically asking how, when, and where did you use water? Based on those responses, the participant might just get an email thanking them for their concern, but they might get an invitation to complete the expanded enrollment or the baseline enrollment questionnaires. Baseline enrollment is for individuals who are exposed to the jet fuel contaminated drinking water during November 20th, 2021 through March 18, 2022. That is our exposure window per se, and you would be in one of those green zones on that map. Our expanded enrollment is much broader, and the questionnaire that is included with that cohort is actually less intense because it's potentially different exposures that could have taken place. But anybody who used the Navy water line before that exposure window at any time or after. Also, if you're any of the buffer zones around the green areas, so that could include, the shopping centers, more schools than what are just explicitly on the water line, the Halava Correctional Center, all kinds of locations. The final group of people who are included in the expanded enrollment are the housemates of exposed individuals who went unexposed. That might sound confusing, but I have adult children, this is a good example. We lived directly on the water line, and my oldest lived outside of our residence during that window of exposure. So they would still be able to enroll in that expanded enrollment criteria. What we envision with this group is that it would create a comparison group that would be very useful for future research. Each questionnaire begins with a consent form that has to be completed by somebody over the age of 18. So you can consent for yourself, a child or minor, or another adult who you are their authorized representative. Next slide. Our referral manager, who also was exposed during the water crisis in the Capilina Beach Homes area. She has worked extremely hard to develop our referral program. I gave 2 fact sheets. You guys are looking at them here. For the community, they're in the back. But the fact sheets, one of them will talk specifically about this resource. So this is a partnership that we have with Unite Us. They're a national organization that helps to connect people to vital resources and community-based organizations. It's kind of like a Google search, but much more verified, and it's specifically community-based organizations. Any links that come up, you're going to, they're vetted. They're not going to take you on some wild goose chase. The site, you can customize it with your zip code anywhere in the 50 states, and you can also choose your preferred language that it shows up in. I want to specifically call out, because of the storms that we're experiencing, you don't have to have drank the fuel to utilize this resource. Because the community explicitly asked us to leave nobody out, we really took that to heart. We are the only customer on the Unite Us system that does not gatekeep the resource that this public resource directory entails. So with these storms happening, if there are things that people are looking for or help that they're looking for, whether it be food insecurity or somebody to help with the roof, you can go to redhillregistry.org/services and use this public resource directory, even if it has nothing to do with drinking jet fuel. Okay, so just to make that very clear. Next slide. This flow chart here actually shows, there's the bottom box is very light, so you can't see it, but there is another colored box. But basically, anybody who comes to the Red Hill Registry website can access our pre-enrollment survey, which leads to those other surveys that I described. Everybody has access to the public resource directory. And then that bottom box that we can't see the colors of, this is for if you did complete the baseline or expanded enrollment surveys, then you would have a personalized link sent to your email afterwards so that you would be able to take advantage of our staff like Colin, who answer phones and emails from anybody and everybody who would contact us. But it's an assistance request form where you can have kind of a handheld experience navigating that public resource directory. Excuse me, next slide. So currently we have 7 fact sheets. 2 of them I passed around, but they're published on our website in the resources tab. And we've got other educational materials that, for example, we're on YouTube and we have a channel at Red Hill Registry where when we hold educational webinars, we can post those up on our site there. Next slide. We partner with organizations to offer accredited continuing education courses for healthcare professionals in Hawaii and beyond. These courses teach current knowledge about the exposure, known health effects, and clinical care and guidance for those who did drink the jet fuel. On the screen is Dr. Seiji Yamada. He's one of the professors and MDs at JABSOM, and he is one of our liaisons and conducted grand rounds at Palimomi. We also delivered a continuing education course through the Center of Occupational and Environmental Health, and that was across the whole western region of the country. We have the goal of spreading this educational resource to healthcare professionals across the country, just because a large portion of the impacted population for Red Hill was military and have already left island.
I do apologize. I'm going to have to give you about another 60 seconds and then we're going to have to move on just so we can get out of here in time.
No worries. Can you jump to the last slide, Colin? I think it might be next. Basically, in order to get the word out to meet the 100,000 people who have dispersed, please let me know if you have other spaces where I can go and talk. We do volunteer events. We get involved in lots of different ways. So I'll leave it at that. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. You guys also have my email address and can contact me afterwards if that's better.
Thanhave you very much. And again, apologies for the late send.
Understandable.
Towards the
It's not my first board meeting. Have a good night.
Excellent. Thank you again so much for taking the time. Val Nolasco, half marathon. Do we have anybody from them? Half marathon is being conducted November 8th, Sunday. We can skip that. All right. Permanent interaction group status, push that off. If you receive an email from me asking for money, do not send it money.
So you did get my $200?
I did not get your $30. Our next regular meeting will take place Thursday, September 17th at 7 p.m. Same time, same place. Please show up. We love when the community is involved, and I swear I'll get us out of here sooner on the next one. Everybody have a great night. We are adjourned.